God, no.
I don't know.
Too bad.
I don't want to take them things individually. He's saying, have them, right, you know, say,
But I used to get in so much trouble with him and Charlie.
no, some of them are not related to each other. 10 months from now, when you made a mistake, you go back and say, well, I was in that great big group.
Oh, God, yeah.
Good morning and welcome, everybody. Call this Personnel Ways and Means Committee meeting to order. First item of business would be a motion to approve the minutes. So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Next, we have public comment on any agenda item. Last call for public comment on any agenda item. Seeing none, we will move on. This next item, we have to recommend the appointment of Board of Canvasser members. You've seen this in your packet. One item of note, this cannot go on the consent agenda. This has to be voted by statute by paper ballot tomorrow. So you're aware of that. That being said, I would entertain a motion to recommend this slate of candidates forward to tomorrow.
So moved.
Support. Been moved and seconded. Any questions, discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next, we have an appointment, let's see what, two of them, for Lenawee Public Transportation Authority, 7 members, 3-year terms. We have Russ Amo and Amy Young. Do I have a motion to recommend these forward?
So moved.
Support. And moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Next, we turn to Ms. Murphy.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Just for point of information, on that same page showing the vacancy for the 911 District Board, that will be appointed by the county chiefs. And I believe they have already met, so at the next 911 meeting, there will be a law enforcement representative.
Great.
It will not be a vacancy.
Super. And of course, I draw everybody's attention and should have of the pending vacancies that we have coming forward. Pay attention in particular to the ones that are in your district, and any help you can bring us in filling those spots would be great. Now, Administrator Murphy, if you would discuss the employment changes.
These are the employment changes that were processed as of September 30th for the month of September. You can see that we have a number of new hires, some terminations, and then we have a couple individuals that had advanced in their positions, or there was a change in their position. If there's any questions, I can try to answer those.
Seeing none, we'll move on to employee anniversaries. Again, this is a time when we recognize the service of our hardworking employees, and I like to point to the ones who've been here a long time, including today, Miss Bev Ehlers, 43 years, and Tammy Sheldon, 43 years of service to the county. We thank you and all our employees for your service. Any comments or questions before we move on? Congratulations. Thank you. Next, I have an amended agenda because I printed mine last night. I would ask Administrator Murphy to explain this juvenile justice infrastructure grant, if she would.
Sir, at first, I think we have the annual medical waiver.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Then we'll go back to this one.
The juvenile justice is actually under Ways and Means rather than personnel. I may have
Okay.
missed that there, looking at it.
Oh, nobody's pointing fingers. Just don't let me forget it.
I won't.
So what do we want to take up next then?
So under personnel business, item D, request annual medical waiver, the PA 152 of 2011. I'm going to explain this just a little bit because we do have a couple newer members on our commission. Every year, we have voted to opt out of Public Act 152 of 2011, which basically sets a hard cap of what the employer is allowed to pay on behalf of the employee's health insurance. Part of our collective bargaining agreements have indicated that the county will continue to pay increases that we experience in those in those rates of 10%. I believe it was last month, may have been the month before, we talked about the increase that we are experiencing this year for 2026. That increase is an average of about 16%. The county is increasing its contribution by the 10% that is required as part of the collective bargaining agreements, and the employees are taking on the other 6% for those plans in which that applies. I have attached to this agenda review form just a couple documents for your reading pleasure, if you'd like to do that, which basically outlines the Department of Treasury's medical benefit plan coverage, which is what we are obligated to if we comply with the Public Act. However, if we opt out of it, the second sheet will show you what the impact is to the employer. And more importantly, it's to show our employees the amount of responsibility that the county as an employer is taking on and saving them from having to pay out of their pocket. So the request before you today is to recommend approval of the medical benefits waiver to opt out of Public Act 152 of 2011.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Support.
And moved and seconded. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Matter advances. Now again, we'll turn to Administrator Murphy to take us through the finance reports.
Okay, we're going to start with your general fund income statement, and these reports were run as of October 2nd, so there have been changes between then and now. However, on the general fund side, I do want to point out on the first page under the treasurer's office, especially for our newer commissioners, you've seen us a little upside down in that category as far as revenue over the last few months, and I keep telling you that, hey, don't worry, it's going to change. We're gonna bring in more revenue, and you can see now where we are at 27,289,000 of revenue that has come in, which is about 90% of what we have anticipated to come in revenue, which is the majority of that is taxes. So I just wanted to point that out to show you that the revenue truly is starting to come in. Then we can just scroll to the last page of the general fund income statement as our expenses are all seem to be falling in line. We have made all of the quarterly transfers out payments, and we are currently looking at a total revenue right now of 32,809,000 and expenditures of 30,937,000. As we move on to the fund equity changes report, which is also effective October 2nd, I am going to kind of go through these fairly quickly. Under the fund category governmental funds, this takes in a number of different funds within this report. But under the governmental funds, we have year-to-date revenues of 54,666,000 in comparison to expenditures of 63,582,000. As we move on to the fund category proprietary funds, these are more, you can look at them as business type funds, the revenue generating funds. The one I want to stop at, the first one is actually Fund 502, Human Services Building. I want to stop here because you have a number of requests before you today that involve the Human Services Building. And I want to make sure that you see that there is funding available to fund those projects. So you can see that we currently started a beginning balance of just over $4 million, have had year-to-date revenues of 1.6 million and year-to-date expenditures of $1.2 million. On the final page, the total for the proprietary funds shows year-to-date revenues of 20,821,000, comparison to year-to-date expenditures of 21,212,000. In all, your grand totals show year-to-date revenues of 75 million in comparison to expenditures of 84 million. And if you have any questions, I will try to answer those.
Any questions? Seeing none, we move on now to the apportionment report, if I'm reading the correct agenda. Ms. DeLong, if you'd be interested in coming and share with us. She is the Director of Equalization for Lenawee County.
Good morning. So the apportionment report is in your packet.
And it's a compilation of the tax certifications, the L-4029s with all the millage rates, that get sent to us and to the state, for, the taxes to be placed on taxable property. It's, I don't know, I don't have all the special assessments, which aren't part of it. I'm still waiting on the drain, so that's why my totals are not, accurate as far as the total, but the levy, for the millage rates requested is $170,795,420, to be collected. But I would ask for this to be, apportionment report to be, adopted, so that we can, collect the taxes.
So moved.
Or
Been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All opposed, same sign. Matter advances. Next, we have the Juvenile Justice Infrastructure Grant. I'd ask Administrator Murphy to bring us up to speed on that.
So if you recall, over at Morris Beer Campus, we have the current addition that we have been working on, which was, majority of that was paid through ARPA funds. And then Deputy Administrator Elliott was able to secure a competitive grant to do the renovations to existing detention. Through the state budget shutdown and a number of things that have happened, we were appropriated a certain sum of money that was effective as of September 30th, with the remaining amount that they had originally indicated that we would get to come sometime thereafter. It has to be reapplied for. So what you have before you today is a request to accept the amount that they have allocated to us already, which is $385,000. And then we will be bringing back to you when we get the amended agreement for the remaining amounts to get approval on that. So the request before you today is to recommend the authorization of the county administrator to execute the 2026 Juvenile Justice Infrastructure Grant in the amount of $385,000 to the Board of Commissioners, and to recommend the expenditure of $500,000 from the contingency division of the capital fund for Lenawee County's portion of the grant to the Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Support.
Give me. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or questions? I appreciate, go ahead.
I do want to indicate, we're talking about the $500,000 portion as it relates to this particular grant. That $500,000 won't change. So as we get the additional funds to come in, which have already been requested by our grant representative, our portion will not change.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Did we vote?
No, we did
I
not.
did not. Thank you. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. And thank you for all your additional work as we've dealt with the threats of the government funding issues. Now I would put it to the commission. We have 8 requests here. I believe you've all had a chance to review them. I am open to the idea of a motion to approve all 8.
Support.
Been moved and seconded. Again, all these have been thoroughly vetted and brought before us, and in fact, a number of them we're pretty well obligated to continue with. So any questions on any particular line item? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Why do I always feel guilty when we do that? We have a discussion item for our November 2025 meeting. Administrator Murphy.
So currently, the November Personnel Ways and Means meeting is scheduled for November 11th, which is Veterans Day, and the county is closed on that day. So we need to find an alternate day to hold Personnel Ways and Means. Depending on when that happens, you will also have on your agenda tomorrow at the Board of Commissioners meeting a request to identify the potential for a new date for the Board of Commissioners meeting. Keep in mind that if we move the Personnel Ways and Means meeting out further into the month, it would make sense that we would then move the Board of Commissioners meeting out further into the month as we move all actions of Personnel Ways and Means up to the Board of Commissioners. With that, I will let you decide what day works best for you as far as the meeting.
So right now, so I got this clear. I have my calendar out. They are scheduled for the 11th and 12th.
Correct.
And the question is, when can we move both of those meetings?
Why don't we move Ways and Means to Monday and leave commission meeting as it would be on Wednesday, and you guys can play and that.
Is there an issue with that? Does that work with everybody's calendars?
We have, airport meeting and policy and procedure that morning.
No, that's on the 3rd, actually.
But that's-
We're looking
No,
at.
we're looking at the 10th.
Commissioner Krasny.
I would offer that I know that a lot of county employees, as well as the administrators, staff, the following week is deer season. So I want to be respectful of that.
Here, I thought you were going to say it's the legislative dinner and we will be prepping for dinner.
Of course, that's
Yeah.
always high on my mind.
Commissioner Van Dorn, please rescue us.
One, Dave, you can't make it.
Yeah, I could make the, I have somebody coming from out of town to meet with me on one day. We would probably be done at 2. I could only do late afternoon, but that, I'm only one person.
Well, I think we're gonna struggle the following week, even more so. So if there's no major objections, staff is okay with the 10th and the 12th?
We will make it work. I don't know if there's any department heads that would need to report out in November that may already have that day off to give them a 4-day weekend, but we will work through that.
Okay. Commissioner Collins,
Are we looking at a particular time, same time?
we do 10 o'clock?
You can't do 10.
Is there a motion to that effect that we reschedule Ways and Means to the 10th at 10 a.m.? It's been moved,
Support.
been moved and supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Meeting
Aye.
date is changed. Oh, okay, it's 8-1. Let the record reflect. Is there any other Ways and Means business? Any additional items for the consent agenda? And then finally, public comment? See no public comment, any commissioner comment? Being none. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, meeting is adjourned.